You're listening to Hackers IRL. We're the people the news pretends are a single character. We are not. We pop shells, walk our dogs, fight with our printers, and somehow ship the work. This show is voicemails. Brain dumps from our side of the wire about whatever's on our minds. The line stays open. Up next, Panda from Assura, the superheroes of cybersecurity. Here's their story.
Hey guys, it's Panda. Oh my gosh, this week's been crazy. I've been putting out some fires at work. Nothing bad, just, we're trying to get ahead of some of the recent vulnerability stuff that came out. And, I'm sure you guys have seen Yellow Key and heard about that. I don't want to talk about too much work stuff on here, but, my life, work blends into personal life a lot. So, taking a break from work, I got away and went to our local Linux user group here in Jacksonville. I got to watch Champ speak about a project he's been working on, Champ Clark with Key9 Security, and the project that he talked about tonight was JSONAir, which seems like a pretty cool way to basically allow you to have updated configuration and resilient processes on your continuous compute systems. So it's something where you can query a config, and then JSONair will actually restart that service after that config's applied. So all of your configuration data is secured as well. Anyway, I'm gonna mess with it for sure. I don't entirely know where I'm going to use it yet, but it's a really interesting concept. As always, Champ's a blast to talk to, and I think it's so cool seeing what people are developing with the new magic wands that we have. It's really awesome. So it was interesting at the beginning of the meeting. They I came in a little bit late, and they were still messing with all kinds of audio video stuff, trying to get Champ set up. And after all the intros, I was like the last person who introed, really, other than the president. I was just kind of killing time. I told people about this story that maybe I should tell here too. So when I was like, I don't know, it was like third, fourth grade. So I was really into computers. Not a lot of my friends were also into computers. I had some friends who were into games. But if I wanted to tear apart the back end of a website, and see how it was built and how it did the cool things that it was doing, or do any real hacking stuff, my friends weren't super interested. Linux was definitely one of those things where it was just kind of I don't know, just none of my friends growing up in the country were interested in hearing me talk about Linux or doing anything with Linux with me. So, I guess you guys shouldn't be surprised. I was bullied a lot in elementary school. It was a long time ago, so I don't really care about it too much, but it was a lot for me to deal with back then. And I remember my parents got me this therapist, and they were paying pretty good money for me to go to this therapist, because they're like, you need to talk to someone. I was a pretty shy kid, and I didn't have too many friends, and the more I got bullied, the more I just kind of fell into my hole and got depressed and everything else. So going to this therapist, and my parents were like, hey, you need to talk to her. We're paying good money, you need to talk to her. So I ended up talking to her about Linux. And it was funny because I don't think she really ultimately cared that much. But she was a really sweet lady, and she let me talk about Linux for an hour, maybe once a month. Eventually, I know she actually tried Linux with her son at one point, which was super cool. I think she's a Windows user nowadays. I have no idea. Not that it matters, but I just thought it was really funny. I was thinking about the other day that the first person that I talked about Linux with is not a hacker. It wasn't someone who even cared about Linux. It was some lady who was getting paid to talk to me, because I was a kid who didn't know how to fit in or whatever, which is ironic because talking about Linux didn't help me fit in anymore in my town. But, when you go to DEF CON or even places like JaxLug here, the Jacksonville Linux User Group, I can talk about Linux all I want to the people here. It's a lot of fun. And, to be able to nerd out with people like Champ about, just the technology that we're gifted today, it's crazy. I'm very thankful to live the life I do. So if you are a small kid out there in the country and have no one to talk to about whatever nerdy thing you want to talk to, it's hard to believe, but it can get better. And what you're into is not the wrong thing, the uncool thing, or whatever to be into. It's don't change who you are for other people. If you're into Linux or other things super technical at a young age, other than don't do crimes, lean into them if you can. Just because the people around you are different than you doesn't mean that you're not really special. If anything, it's probably the opposite. So anyway, we always do this thing after the Linux User Group meeting here. It's called Lush, the Linux User Social Hour. So I'm going to go hang with my friends at Lush and have some delicious Indian food and mango soft serve, which is incredible. And I hope you all have a good night. I'm traveling coming up soon, so I'll be out of town for a whole week, and I'm super excited about that. It's been a while since I had a vacation. I look forward to this trip every year, so it'll be nice to sign off for a little bit and relax. Take care and have a good night. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Hackers IRL. Background music is Simplicity by Macroform. If you've got a story of your own, a breach, a leak, a close call, or just something on your mind, join us. Call 904-915-HACK. That's 904-915-4225. Up to 10 minutes. Choose to preserve your OPSEC, and we distort your voice before anyone hears it. End of transmission.